What up, everybody? Just wanted to say a big thank you to everybody who's supported Lockdown Universe for the past 3 years. I really appreciate you. And if you've been thinking about a way to support, but you didn't have $1.99 to support for each month, that is okay. If you want to just buy me a coffee, there's an option for you to just buy me a coffee inside the description of each episode moving forward. So just highlight that, put it in your browser. You can go right there and buy me a coffee or 2 or 3. I like coffee. Who doesn't? And I would really appreciate it. And it would keep me awake enough to make more podcasts for you guys. So I would appreciate that. And just wanted to let you know. Thanks for that. And thanks for supporting the podcast. Let's get to the show. What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back, I'll be back. Hopefully you guys are doing excellent and taking care of yourselves. I got an interesting one for you today. So I went down the DuckDuckGo rabbit hole, and as we all know, rabbit holes go down pretty far. And what I enjoyed about this particular rabbit hole was I just typed in conspiracy theories, like the wildest conspiracy theories out there. And what one article popped up was conspiracy theories that became proven true, which are the best ones, right? Because then you got confirmation that it's real, it actually happened, and you know there's unbiased truth, right? Verifiable truth. So one of the conspiracy theories that popped up was none other than an interesting one that came up in the X-Files, which was one of the lone gunmen telling one of the other characters that the government can track you through the metal strip, the magnetic strip on the dollar bills, whether it's $1, $5, $10, $20, $50, $100, you can be tracked. And I'm like, what? Come on. That's a bunch of horse malarkey, if I ever heard it. So the article continues, and it discusses that this magnetic bill can actually give off the amount that is in your pocket. So like, let's say you have $1 and then you got a couple $5 bills and a couple $10 bills. It'll tell someone that has the equipment, the magnetic testing equipment, how much is actually in your pocket based on what you give off in your in the reading. I was like, no freaking way. But yeah, it is true actually that there is this technology that will give off this sequence. So, for example, if you're going through an airport, it will tell them exactly how much you have going through, which is why they're able to track individuals that are going through with a large amount of cash. It can actually tell them if you have like over $10,000, right? Which is why they'll ask. They'll be like, hey, how much do you have? Going with you, do you have $10,000? And you'd be like, well, no, I only have 5,000. Well, guess what? They're going to know. So the $1 bill gives off a light reading, and this can be read from as far as 9 feet away, or about 3 meters away. Meanwhile, the $5 bill gives off a stronger reading. So let's say the $5 bill gives off 5 times the reading of a $1 bill. Now, wouldn't that be interesting? Because now it doesn't matter what denomination it is, it knows exactly how much you have regardless. Okay? So that's fascinating. So the whole point is that cash is supposed to be anonymous, right? That's why people use it. They want it to be anonymous. They don't want to be tracked. They don't want Google and Target and Walmart to know all of their business. They don't. They want to be able to be free roaming and be able to live their lives without government interference, government knowledge, and we're already getting bombarded with enough commercials and all this advertisements in our feed where we don't need it. But the government don't care. That's the truly amazing thing. They don't care. And it's really a shame. It's really a shame because you think you're being anonymous. And yes, to a degree you are, right? Like if you do a cash deal with somebody, you can do a cash deal with somebody and they're not going to have that information. But you walk through a police station, an airport, some government building, they can tell how much cash you literally have on you, which is kind of scary and sucky because, they can still get that information from your bank accounts too, right? So like, even if you took $10,000 out of your bank account and you put it in your pocket and you think you're being anonymous, well, they know you took 10,000 out, so it had to go somewhere. And they're not, it doesn't necessarily have to be on your person per se, but they know you took it out. So, unless you do a job, you're paid in cash, you're still not fully going to be anonymous if you pull money out of your bank. And right now, everybody's having bank issues, aren't they? Right? I thought it was kind of fascinating given the fact that, these large conglomerates are falling down left and right and everybody's freaking out, worried about whether or not they need to put, their money into precious metals like gold and silver or maybe Bitcoin. Some people have said that this is exactly what Bitcoin was invented for the downfall of the dollar, which is kind of what we're seeing. I won't hesitate to say I have invested in Bitcoin in the past and have and probably will in the future too. And Ethereum, some of the top ones because, it's good to diversify. But is it interesting that now we're talking about this particular conspiracy theory that everybody, it's almost like it's manufactured, right? It's the push towards the digital currency. So if the dollar loses value, right, the actual physical paper dollar loses value because all these banks fold, people are going to say, okay, well, forget the dollar. I'm going to go into gold, silver, and then digital currencies like Bitcoin, where there's an exact amount of denomination, and whoever holds it and whoever has it, it can never increase. They can't print more Bitcoin, okay? Can't do it. It's not possible. There's 21 million Bitcoin out there, and that's it. So if you got a Bitcoin, you're rich, right? To a degree. Right now it's like at $25,000 or whatever. So that's it. They can't print more Bitcoin. It's not going to happen. So Bitcoin's actually a pretty safe investment. Right now, it's better than having no money, which is what a lot of these people are suffering from with the banks. People are suffering from not having money because the bank can't liquidate all of their money. It can't. Because of the way that they took the banks off of the gold standard back in the Nixon era meant that the dollar isn't pegged to the gold standard anymore. And the banks don't have to have your money inside of them. They don't have to have any of your money to do their transactional banking that they do now. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of problems. It's the emperor has no clothes issue that everybody's talking about. So where do you have your money? Do you have any money, right? A lot of us are broke. A lot of us don't have much, so even if you have a couple dollars, that's a couple dollars that you need to survive. And a lot of people aren't paycheck to paycheck. But it's almost interesting to see that this potential conspiracy, which it really is. It is a conspiracy. Conspiracy is a group of people that conspire to make something happen. They made something happen. They made you put your money in their bank and then took it from you. And then what? And then said, hey, you know what? Too bad. So sad. We don't have your money. Sorry. What? So now if everybody puts all their money into digital, let's say a lot of people do. Not everybody will. What'll happen is that everybody has their money in digital, Bitcoin or whatever. And how easy is it for all that to get erased? Well, it's just as easy as it for it to get erased in a bank too. A bank can literally wipe out your savings and just say, hey, yeah, you had money in here, but it's gone. That's happened to a lot of people. It's happened in Africa and it's happened here to people, and there's been videos about it. So if you think your money's safe in a bank, it's not. I think the best investments would be gold, silver, and you can melt that. You can separate that, or you can buy a bunch of separate, pieces of silver and separate pieces of gold if you want to do transactions that way. So there are ways to do it. It's just a matter of whether or not you want to do it that way or not. And a lot of people are scared out there, man, and I don't blame them. They're lining up at the banks and worried about it. But the truth of the matter is that at the end of the day, they're going to print more money and your dollar is going to be worth less. So really, right now, the best thing to do is to invest in gold and silver, in all honesty, because you could take that and you could still bring your silver to Walmart. You can have silver coins, right? There are silver coins. You can literally buy silver dollars that are made from silver and use those at Walmart. You know what I mean? So why not have them? Why not have silver on hand? That's a pretty safe bet. And it's interesting because gold is like Bitcoin and silver is kind of like Ethereum. It's kind of interesting that way. The gold is the gold color, Bitcoin is the gold color, and then Ethereum is always kind of known as the silver secondary backup to Bitcoin. So I always found that kind of fascinating. So, conspiracy theory of the magnetic strip. Supposedly, it's for counterfeit protection, not being able to reproduce it, right? But there have been many counterfeiters out there who have reproduced it easily and passed it off easily. So, did it work? No, not really. But did it make it trackable? Which might be this conspiracy's whole agenda is to have it trackable. That would be interesting. That right there, the Treasury, basically causing a conspiracy theory and allowing them to track you anywhere you go, knowing how much cash you have. And who knows? Maybe each one has its own code, so it knows where the dollar went itself, not just by the serial number, but also by the magnetic strip, telling them when scanning it where it came from. Okay, this dollar came from Oregon and it made it all the way to Chicago and now it's down in Miami. And this person took it from that person and then they transferred it to that person. And, think about it. Think about your fingerprints going onto it. Your fingerprints go from Oregon to Chicago to Miami and all around the world. It's very interesting. I remember when I was a kid, they had where'sgeorge.com website, and they would take that and print it on like the dollar bill. So you could go you could log in, you could tell the website where you are and where you have this dollar bill, and then it would be able to be tracked. So you could say, oh, this dollar bill was in Washington, now it's here, and now it's going there. It's really, really fascinating to see how they can kind of like blend these things into their own narrative. So fascinating stuff. There's lots of other conspiracy theories in there. I'm going to pull out another one. But I just wanted to share that one with you because I thought it was interesting. I thought it was fascinating. And it continues to this very day because we're still using cash. But the question remains, given the fact of what we know with the dollar bill and what's going on with the banking system, and these banks are falling, and there's lots of them that are falling, what will you do? Will you be pushed into digital money eventually? Will you trust digital money? Because that digital money, with a flick of a switch, can be gone instantaneously. And think about that just for a second. Think about that. If it instantaneously disappears, no one has money, that's the easiest way to cause a civil war amongst communities, amongst people. I mean, it'd be utter chaos. It would be utter chaos. That's all they need to do, folks. That's all they need to do. So, chew on that. I would say gold and silver would be the way to go because it's real and reliable and it's always had value. and it will continue to have value no matter what. It's had value since for thousands of years, right? Pirates were fighting over this stuff. Okay, so we know that it has value, intrinsic value, and it always will, because they're both superconductors. They're both conductors of electricity, and they're the top of the food chain. So, anyway, guys, I hope you're having an excellent day, an excellent night, thinking about interesting conspiracies. I'm going to bring you another one, and I hope you guys just continue to enjoy what I bring. And I enjoy talking about it with you, and I hope you guys have a fantastic evening. Follow through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams, and as always, continue to question the universe around you. Until next time, guys, take care. Lockdown Universe out.